Welcome to the Missouri Valley Conference Game of the Week preview show presented by Mercy, the official orthopedics and sports medicine provider of the Missouri Valley Conference. With head coach Ryan Pedon, I'm Harry Schroeder. And Wednesday at 6 p.m., the Redbirds will be playing on your local Gray Media station and Matrix Midwest here in St. Louis as they head and take on Belmont. And Coach Pedon, thanks for joining us today. You guys are 4-3. Tell us a little bit about your experience at the Paradise Jam. What are those MTEs all about, and what do you feel like you gained for your team at that experience?
Yeah, Harry, I think everyone's probably different with the philosophy on the MTEs and some of the early season scheduling. What I think is we learned a lot about ourselves at that tournament, and the only way to do that is to go against really good competition that will bring things out of you. And if there's certain areas that are exposed, which of course I'm watching all of these MTE tournaments, there's certain areas that teams get exposed when you play good competition. I view that as a really positive thing, a good thing, and a beneficial thing for us, big picture.
How would you grade your team right now over and against what you thought maybe a month and a half ago? Like, how would you evaluate today based on what you thought back then?
Well, I think there's a lot of moving parts to that. So, I thought we would have a full roster and be healthy. We haven't. You got to adjust. You got to almost expect that throughout a long college basketball season. But it's fair to say two of our top probably six guys that I envision counting on aren't with us and haven't been with us, and Brandon Lieb and Bowden Skunberg. So it's allowed some other guys to grow and be thrown into the fire probably a little earlier than anticipated. But my expectations versus reality, I thought this would be a real work in progress, especially with some of the younger guys that we're playing and the new pieces that we've added. We're starting three sophomores. I didn't necessarily envision that maybe and them playing such a prominent role, but they've done an unbelievable job. They're learning their way as we go here, but I think they've done an unbelievable job. Johnny Kinzinger, Ty Pence, and Chase Walker, and getting some valuable experience early in the season. That's always a benefit.
You mentioned Lieb and Skunberg. What can you tell us about their physical coming back at some point? What are you looking for? Because you mentioned Lieb, who was with you before, but Skunberg came in with a lot of numbers behind him, and we
Yeah.
were really expecting him to explode on the scene.
Yeah, both of them are going to be out for an extended period of time, and if that means another month, it could.
Mm.
If that's a couple weeks, I think it's in that range from a couple weeks to a month, and we'll have to navigate it as we go. Both of them are rehabbing daily. Both of them are very important pieces to our puzzle for obvious reasons. And we're hopeful, but it's more than just a few days.
It's going to take a minute. You had Banks, and you mentioned Johnny Kinzinger and Poindexter, kind of three guys that you could build around that were returners. How have those three guys been kind of holding the team together?
You know what? I think in our wins, one of the main differences that you'll see statistically is our guard play, and that's got to become more consistent. They've been also a major reason that we've won. We've had some really good wins here early in the season, but I'm looking for a real consistency out of our guards across the board, and they're all three guys that I trust. I've been through battles with. They've played a lot of minutes, and we're certainly going to need them to play well as we get into the month of December, and then of course as we hit Valley play in January, February, and March.
You mentioned Walker. Talk about his development. He's really emerged.
We've seen it coming here. I didn't want to talk it up too much heading into the season because I figured it would play out. But Chase is he's a problem inside. He's done a very good job for us in terms of being efficient, being a threat in the post, but also a threat to pass out of the post. And he's high level with drawing fouls. He's a physical guy, and You don't see sophomores that have that type of physicality a whole lot. And I'm just really excited for him. I'm excited for where he's at, but I'm also equally as excited for what I think he can become in the next few weeks, months, and years. So Chase Walker, I'm glad he's a Redbird. That's for sure.
Coach, because of the new TV package we're doing, there's going to be new people coming in, being able to watch the Missouri Valley Conference teams play, and one of the guys that people are very excited about is Johnny Kinziger. Had the opportunity to interview him a couple of weeks ago. Very impressive guy, but tell people that are going to be new to watching the Redbirds on Gray Media TV stations with the kind of game that Johnny Kinziger has.
Well, Johnny's like a throwback. I think he's a throwback. You watch him and he's a chip off the old block. He's a tough, gritty competitor. He packs a punch for being 5'11". He really packs a punch. He's going to fight you tooth and nail for positioning on both sides of the ball. Like I said, he's gritty, very skilled, and can impact the game in a lot of different ways. I've seen real growth in him in terms of his overall effect on the game, his ability to not just make shots and score, but his ability to compact the defense, his ability to read the game, his ability to get to the paint. All three of those things are going to be very crucial for our team, but I've seen real growth in those areas. So Johnny's a guy that I think, in every sense of the word, really exemplifies what we want our program to be about: tough, competitive, skilled, and gritty on both ends of the floor.
Really enjoyed getting to know him. Talk about where you guys are at and what are the things that you're looking to build on, improve. If you guys are going to be successful these last 2.5 months of the season, 3 months of the season, what do the Redbirds have to improve on or get better at?
Yeah, rebounding is such a key facet. I knew that it would be coming in to this season for us because of the way our roster is built. We're playing for the most part, playing four perimeter players. Our defensive rebounding has been very good. You're talking top 40 nationally in terms of just being accountable on the glass every possession, doing our jobs, being physical, and employing great technique defensively on the glass. I talk about technique all the time with our team, with our rebounding, and I think that's a big key. So that's been a real positive. I think our offensive rebounding is a long way off from where it needs to be, and that's effort, desire, consistency of effort to crash the glass, and we got area for growth there for sure on the offensive glass.
Final question. So you have Belmont, the singular kind of valley game for you early, and then we get back to conference play later on. How do you attack the Belmont Bruins? You talk about being able to defend and all the stuff that Casey does. Talk about how are you guys going to be successful against the Bruins?
Well, anytime you play Belmont, you gotta enter that game and enter that arena with a defensive minded approach. I don't care who you are. If you're not ready to defend when that ball goes up, it's going to be a long night for you because they're so prolific offensively. So, first things first is setting our defense, limiting their amount of transition baskets and opportunities that they have. Of course, that starts with our shot selection and our ability to take care of the basketball. Once our defense is set, limiting their threes, I think that's been consistent. It's well known. Belmont relies on threes and has for a long time. They've got prolific shooting across the board. So being able to guard the ball, but also do all the things that are necessary and required to take threes away from them and not allow them to live on rhythm shots from the 3-point range. And the thing I notice about them this year that I don't know if enough people are talking about is their ability to rebound the ball. They're considerably better rebounding the basketball this year, and that's an area that, like I said, we always emphasize that, but I think it's a very, very important element to guarding them and defending them for 40 minutes. Is you got to be committed on that defensive glass. So I see a very similar team to what I've seen in the past. They've got multiple weapons that can hurt you, and it's going to be a great challenge for us on Wednesday night.
Appreciate your time. Our Wednesday night coverage begins at 6 p.m. Central. For information on where you can catch the games, please visit mvc-sports.com. For the Missouri Valley Conference, I'm Harry Schroeder.